Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace a front strut with an unloaded strut from 1AAuto.com on this 2010 Buick Enclave. And we show you on the passenger side, but the driver's side is the same procedure. And the items you'll need is that new unloaded strut from 1AAuto.com, flat blade screwdriver, 8, 15, 18, 21, 22, and 24 millimeter socket and ratchet, 18 millimeter wrench, torque wrench, spring compressors, a 13/16 spark plug socket, and jack stands. Start off by prying off your hubcap, and then remove these 22 millimeter lug nuts. And you want to just loosen them while the vehicle's on the ground, and then raise the vehicle up and remove them the rest of the way. Now the wheel will pull free. Pry up the cap at the end of your wiper arm, and then remove this 15 millimeter nut. Then either using a wiper arm puller or just pushing it in and out and using penetrating oil and pulling it off. You want to remove the wiper arm, but a wiper puller helps. You just twist it, it pops it off the stud, and you can pull it free. And then you just want to repeat the process on the other wiper arm. Now you need to remove these 4 clips. And you can either use a pick, and just pry up the center of the clip and then pull the clip up and out. Or you can use a flat blade screwdriver, pry up the center, and then pry out the bottom. Remove this ground, and pull it free, and then pry out this clip right here. And there's another one on the other side, and you just need to pry them out of the body of the car. Peel off this adhesive pad from the cowl panel and do the same thing on the other side. And then pry up this clip right here on the driver's side of the cowl panel. And then pull up sharply on the cowl panel and it'll release the clips. And then do the same thing for the other side. And you want to just pull this up, make sure all the clips have released, and then pull the panel free.
Now you want to remove 2 of these 3 15 millimeter nuts, and then the last nut you just want to loosen most of the way. Flat blade screwdriver and pry out the clip that holds your brake line in place. And then an 18 millimeter socket and ratchet, and you just want to get the bolt on the end of the stabilizer link to move. If you have it moving, then use an 18 millimeter wrench and then an 8 millimeter socket and ratchet. The 8 millimeter socket and ratchet hold the stud into place while you remove them with the wrench. And you might have to a couple times spray some penetrating oil on, retighten the nut, and then loosen it back up.
And you can see it just pulls right out. Now remove these 2 24 millimeter nuts. And you can loosen them up with a breaker bar, or you can use power tools. And once you get those nuts to a certain point, just put them back on just a little bit, and then pull this harness out of here.
So make sure you put the nuts on so they're flush with the bolts. Once you get them moving, take the nuts off. Alright, so we've got a jack supporting the suspension just a little bit until this comes out nice and loose. Okay. You want to make sure that your steering knuckle doesn't pull too far out. Move the nut. Alright, we just wire tied this right here so there's not too much stress on the axle or too much stress on the hose here. Now with the strut out, you have to compress the spring, so I've got my spring compressors. I'm just going to tighten those up. This is a large spark plug socket, and it's got an insert in here to hold the spark plug. I'm just going to take a 90-degree pick, pull that insert out so it's wide open. Put a 7/8 wrench on here, and then there's a 9mm socket, and I have a adapter on it to get it to 3/8. Okay. Okay, so this socket's on there really tight, so I want to knock it off first.
Now you can just remove that nut. Pull the top off with the spring and this pad. Take your new strut. Just loosen up the nut on the top and it'll just pull out. Take this boot, transfer it over. Transfer over this pad. Once you have it lined up, take the spring, lower it into place. And then the same way you got the previous nut off, you want to do that again to tighten this one back on. And we'll fast forward as Mike does that.
Okay, so before I tighten it up, just got my spring there, which it's in my cushion correctly. Make sure it's right there on the platform of the strut as well, where it's supposed to be. And then just to kind of preliminarily aim, this should be facing towards the outside of the car, and then this stud here, the big one, should be towards the outboard part of the car.
Okay, once you line it up, tighten up the nut that holds the spring onto the strut, and then make sure it stays lined up as you loosen up your spring compressors.
Now feed the strut back up into place. You just want to push those studs through. Replace one of the nuts preliminarily to just hold it there. And then line up the wheel knuckle into the strut. And then replace one of those bolts just to help hold it into place. And then replace the other bolt. And you can just hammer them in the rest of the way. And now just replace those two nuts.
Okay, so you can adjust your alignment, so you will need to have your vehicle aligned after you install these. And it looks like mine is pretty close to the middle. So the top one's fixed, but the bottom one you can flex by pushing in or out on the knuckle. So I'm actually just looking in behind. I can see a nice line where my old one was sitting. So I'm just going to kind of line it up there and then tighten it up preliminarily. Torque these to 120 foot-pounds.
Jack the strut up into place.
I'm just going to put these 15mm nuts back on. I'll preliminarily tighten them, but we're going to torque them once the vehicle's back on the ground with the wheel on.
Take the harness clip from your old strut and it just pulls out, and then you just push it into place on the new strut. Then reclip the harness into that clip and push this clip back into the lower part of the strut. Push the sway bar link back into place and just replace that nut and tighten it up. Now you can replace the wheel. And then just replace the lug nuts and tighten them preliminarily in a crossing pattern. Then you want to lower the vehicle and tighten these the rest of the way and torque each of them to 100 foot-pounds. Again, in a crossing pattern. And you can just line up and hit your hubcap back into place. Now torque these 3 nuts up here to 45 foot-pounds. Pull out any clips that stayed behind in the vehicle and push them back into place in your cowl panel. Then feed the cowl panel back into place. Make sure it tucks back under the hood. And once you get everything lined up, just start pushing the clips back into place. And make sure that this adhesive cushion over here goes back up and over. And repeat the process on the other side. And now replace those 4 clips. Just push in the lower part and then the center to lock them in. Replace the ground and tighten it back up. Make sure your weather strip's back in place. And then for now you can close the hood. Make sure these clips on either side of the cowl panel are back into the body of the vehicle. Push the wiper arm onto the stud. Make sure it's lined up where you want it. And then replace that 15mm nut and tighten it up. Put the cover back on the end. And now just repeat the process with the other wiper arm.
We hope this video helps you out. Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.